Hey guys, in this video we're going to learn how to make your feet extremely strong, and I don't mean just muscular strength. We're going to be talking about bones, we're going to be talking about how the nerves fire to the muscles themselves, the cartilage, the mobility of the joints of the foot. The reason we want to do this is because a lot of people's feet are extremely weak, and this makes them susceptible for development of degenerative and chronic issues in the feet. A lot of these things have to do with the nutrient and waste exchange deficit. So nutrients aren't getting into the tissues and wastes are not getting out. This usually is because there's a mobility fault and the tissues are not moving in the way they're meant to. And when you can't move, the nutrients aren't going to get in, waste get out. So the area will become degenerative. It'll start eating itself, and that's something we don't want. So what we want to do is make sure that all the structures in your foot are strong enough to take care of themselves. The foot is really strong, but a lot of people put it in a compromising position by wearing shoes and sitting around all day in chairs and also having bad diets. And what this causes is weakness of the feet structures. And so what we want to do though is before we start working on exercises to fix this problem, we want to fix the alignment of the bones, first of all, the mobility of the joints, and then once those two things are set together, the nerves will fire, and then we can work on the muscles, okay? You cannot just sit there and do towel curls and pick up marbles all day long and expect that to strengthen your feet if your bones are out of alignment. You cannot do it that way. You have to fix the bones alignment first, and then you work on other things. If you have trigger points in the muscles of the foot, you need to fix those first before you work out the muscles. You cannot make a muscle stronger if it has trigger points. So the first thing that we want to fix is the bones alignment, and there's going to be three faults that are common that most modern footwear cause that we want to fix. First of all, you're going to have to find a shoe that is flat. That means that it has zero heel drop. That means there's no heel elevation. Most shoes are kind of like small high heels. They lift up the heel a little bit, and that throws a lot of the bones out of place, and that's really bad. Also, toe spring. A lot of shoes lift up the toes in the front of the foot. What this does is it stretches out the flexors on the bottom of the foot that support the arch, and it makes them weak, and then they can't support the arch of the foot and puts the bones out of alignment. That's really bad. So we need to find a shoe that's completely flat on the bottom. No lift in the front, no lift in the back. It needs to be continuously flat soled. And then the third and probably the most easiest and in some people's viewpoints most important thing is that we want to spread the toes out. The toes are always crammed in to a narrow shoe toe box with modern footwear, and that's really bad because we need the toes to splay outward with every step. It's part of your walking gait cycle. It's how you dissipate force into the tissues, and also biomechanically, you want the toes to be mobile so that all the joints in the foot work in a favorable fashion so that the leg bones can rotate properly so you can distribute force into other joints like the knee, the ankle, and the hip, and the back, and so on all the way up through the body. So we need everything mobile and working and also stable and strong. So the toe spreading devices, there will be a link in this video, probably like right around here. Just check that out. I also have a video about toe spreading devices, so watch that video. I go into a lot more depth in that one about how toe spreading devices help you. After we align the bones in their proper position, then the muscles can actually fire and the joints will start moving. This is very good, and it can take some time to get the bones in their proper position. What we also want to do is fix the trigger points in the foot and in the calves, and for some of you in the hamstrings and quadriceps. So the whole leg and the foot, what we want to do is we want to massage it and feel if there's any tender spots or trigger points around there. I have another video on how to fix these. So check out the link, it should be around here, and then work out those trigger points. What this will do is get the muscles to start firing again so that the joints are more mobile. You want everything kind of moving again. After you have prepared your feet and lower legs for strengthening of the feet, then we can start working on actual exercises. While you do these exercises, it's important to have a good diet and add something with minerals and collagen. So bone broth is the best for both of those things. It will give you the raw materials to rebuild your foot in every part of the foot. Your bones might be a little bit sore after doing a lot of these exercises, especially going towards minimal footwear. So what we want to do is give your body all the raw materials to rebuild the foot. So bone broth is great. Just take that. It's awesome. And some other things that you can do for bone strength is cod liver oil and vitamin K2, the MK4 form of K2. So if we want to actually make the foot muscles stronger, we need to know what position the bones and the foot need to be in to actually contract the muscles in a favorable fashion. You cannot have your foot in a bad position and then try to work it out. That's really bad. I'm going to show you exactly what position your feet should be in while you stand and while you walk during walking gait cycles. And once you have that down, then we can work on the exercises. The exercises for like the foot muscles should be the last thing that we're working on. All right, and it should be a slow and progressive change. Alright, so this is my feet when I'm just standing doing nothing, alright? You can tell that my toes are a little bit more splayed out than most. You can see some room between my toes. That's an important sign that your toes are spread correctly. You can see that my big toe is going inward a little bit. My arch is lifted a little bit, and my foot muscles are engaged. Compare this to somebody that's standing with shoes on, right? So let's put the toes in a standard American shoe position, okay? And then let's put the arches in a little bit. This is how most people stand. This is really bad. Some people will have a duck foot stance with this while their arches collapse. Compare that to putting the arch up. See how I can lift the arch by contracting the arch muscles and then spreading the toes out like this. When the toes are spread and the arch muscles are engaged, the arch muscle will lift. And when the arch is lifted up, you're going to have an external rotation on the tibia or on the lower leg bones. So we really want to make those toes spread when we're standing. We want to engage those arch muscles. So the very first exercise that I want you guys to work on is literally just lifting the arch of the foot. Okay, so when you're standing or sitting or something, just lift the arch of the foot. So this is a strong arch. Okay, this is just pure muscular contraction that's holding this arch up. If I was not contracting my arch muscles, it would be down like this, and it would look horrible. When the foot looks like this, it's weak. This is bad. And this is what a lot of people have when they're put into a shoe. If you also take notice, if we elevate the heel a little bit and we elevate the toes, such as in a standard American shoe, the arch will collapse. It will go inward. When you get rid of the heel elevation and the toe spring and you have a shoe that's continuously flat on the bottom, then the arch muscles can actually fire. I mean, look at this. When I lift the toes, the arch muscles are going to get stretched, and when they're stretched, they're going to be weak, and they cannot support the arch. So we want that flat shoe so that the arch muscles are working within their natural range of motion so they can lift up the arch of the foot. Same with heel elevation. When you put it up like this, you're going to shorten the calf and you're going to put a lot of the bones in the foot out of alignment, and then the muscles will not be able to fire properly. When the arch is not risen like this, then the tibia or the lower leg bone cannot rotate properly, and then the knee will be in an unfavorable position and it will be inherently weak. So we really want to start just our whole strong foot journey with making that arch rise from having good footwear and having spread out toes. Once the arch is engaged and you start seeing it rise a little bit more and more over the months of wearing toe spreading devices and having flat shoes, then you can start working on exercises. The biggest exercise should be focusing on standing with good form. So like when you spread out those toes and lift up the arch, focus on doing that all the time when you're standing. That should be your goal at first. After we get the positioning down of the foot bones, what we want to work on is coordination. And so coordination is going to be fine motor skills of the toes individually and the arch muscles. So when you're standing, and you have that good position with your toes outward and the arch a little bit risen, try to shrink your foot even more and bring the arch up really high. See how I just shortened my foot just by contracting the arch muscles? That's a really great exercise for positioning, and this is uncontracted. And then when I contract it, make the foot really short and bring that arch straight to the sky, and then release. The next exercise is that we want to make the toes move independently. So the first thing that we want to start is push the big toe into the ground and then lift all of the tiny toes up to the sky, and then hold this. Focus on pushing that big toe into the ground and lifting the arch at the same time while keeping the toes raised. This is quite difficult, and you will get some cramping at first, and it will make your feet pretty sore. The next exercise is pushing the toes into the ground while lifting the big toe. While you do this one, we also want to focus on making the foot shorter by bringing the arch up as high as we can, and then you can release the arch and then bring it up and then release the arch. Go back and forth while you're in this position. Another movement that you want to think about is whenever you're walking, you want to have pronation when your foot hits the ground. You want pronation and then supination when it comes off the ground, okay, through your walking gait cycle. So heel hits, pronation, and then it comes back up, and then supination, and then it comes off the ground. After you pronate down like this, you want to have your toes splayed while you pronate, and then when your foot is made it through mid stance, and that's when the toes are touching the ground and the heel is touching the ground, then we want to lift the arch while we're pushing off, okay? That's kind of hard to do, but all of those coordination exercises we just went over will definitely get this kind of working again. Also, if your bones are not spread out and you haven't done the things I mentioned earlier in the video, this stuff is nearly impossible. Like you need the bones in a good position so these muscles fire and you can actually accomplish these tasks. Unless this stuff is going to be really difficult. So heel pronation with the toes splayed, and then lift up the arch while you're lifting up the foot. You want to have a little bit of a short foot and a strong foot while you're lifting up, okay? Really important for walking properly. After we have the feet in a good position where the toes are slightly spread out and the arch is risen up a little bit and your foot muscles are more engaged, then we can start working on actual exercises. So my favorite all-around exercise that you can do pretty much anywhere is press your toes into the ground, especially that big toe, spread them also, and then lean forward, okay, and then push yourself back with your toes. So lean forward, then push yourself back with your toes. You want to make sure that they're not like all crumped together or flexed or weird or collapsed arches or like this. You want to have them facing forward, or at most 15 degrees outward, like right around there. And then you want your toes spread, and then you press into it and then lean forward. You need everything in a good position before you start exercising the muscles. If you can exercise these muscles and push back with the foot in a good position like this, then you will be working the muscles in a good way so that they can be trained to work in that manner. If not, you're going to get more problems, and that's bad. You could possibly have really strong feet from doing all of these exercises and stuff, but let's say you still have knee pain and pelvis pain and there's something out of whack. If you're sitting down all day and your pelvis is in a bad position, then you're going to have an unfavorable rotation on the femur bone or on the thigh bone, and that's going to translate to internal rotation of the lower leg bones, the tibia, and then you're going to get some torsion with the fibula, and then what happens is that the foot automatically drops into a flat foot or excessive pronation. So we need to fix that as well. So fix your pelvis positioning, and then everything can work together properly. So strong feet with a strong pelvis, then the knee will line up perfectly, and then the knee will be strong. If any of these joints are out of place, the body says, okay, there's a joint that's unstable, we're going to turn off these muscles, the muscles around the joint. So it's inherently weak. if the bones are not in a good position. You need the bones in a good position so that the nerves can fire to the muscles and make them strong. Muscles are really strong, you just need them to have the right signals. And in order to have a good muscle signal, you need to know where the joint is in three-dimensional space. And that's really important. So, and it has to be stable and in the position that it's meant to work in. I hope this video helps you guys. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below, and like this video if you found it helpful. It will take a few months to get the feet working in the strongest manner possible, but if you follow these exercises and do the toe spreading and all the other stuff I mentioned, you'll set yourself up for some really permanent, long-lasting results. And it's awesome. It feels good when your feet are strong. You can be barefoot, you can contract, you can grab things with your feet, you can use your feet in ways you've never felt before. You'll also have more sensory feeling, like when you touch things with your feet and you're walking, you'll be able to feel the gravel more. You'll be able to have more perceptibility over what's underneath you, and also more better stability, balance, sense of gravity, sense of everything in relation to your environment. So I hope this video helped. Thank you for watching it, and take care and have a good day.